Finland has endless potentials, but your young athletes will only believe if you do. Your training culture right now lacks identity. It's time to change that. Because you know that. And you know what's funny? Oh, well, we were the slaves to the Swedes and to the Russians, and it's just how we do. No, it's over, man. How long ago was that? Was that last week? Because, like, man, were you guys alive when that was going on?
No.
So, like, that's over. It's time to start up. Now, I love this. Finns tell me they're afraid of intimacy. I show people around the world this photo, and they are freaked out. They go, what the heck? Do those guys have no clothes on? And is that a hockey game? What's going on there? And I'll say, hey, that's part of their culture. Sauna, everybody gets naked and gets together. You know, when it was funny, I was telling the story. I went, my Finnish friends, what night was that? Saturday night? Sunday? Sunday night, they took me to, where was it? No, but where was I on the coast? Remember, what was that? I went to the archipelago. We stayed in a cottage house, and they said, Martin, if you're going to pretend to be Finnish, you got to have real authentic sauna. So we went in the sauna with the fire and the rocks and everything, sausages on the grill, and they were just dumping water on until it would get so hot, and then everybody would be like, and then they would go more, and they would go more. Now the first part is when I went into the sauna, I had clothes on. You know, because you don't wear no clothes in the sauna, you know, in the States. And they laughed at me. So then I tried that, and then they said, now, if you really want to know what you're doing, now we got to go jump in the sea. And I said, but guys, it's snowing outside. And it was snowing. And we all went out there, and they loved this. First I put my legs into here, and then I put my arms in, but I just said, guys, I can't do it, I don't know. And then I just went in there all the way into the water and came out. Now, if you guys can do that stuff, and that's not freaking you out, because it doesn't look like it's freaking anybody out here, you're all laughing, like, you're all like, yeah, that's how you do it. Then man, then what I'm saying is it's the same way I look at you when I look at coaching. You know, so I look at it as like, yeah, what are you talking, you know, you should be able to coach great too. It's easy. Because if you can sit naked with all your pals at a hockey game, coaching should be easy, man. I'm telling you. So, real quick, what I want to open up your eyes to is IQ. You've probably heard of it before. IQ means, you know, how smart you are, how technical you are, the knowledge you have. And unfortunately, coaches think a lot of times that IQ is the key to success. The more science I know, the more methodology, the programming, the training, the science from the Finnish labs. If I know this, we'll have success. But now, for the last 10 or 15 years, current research is showing there's something else called EQ. The emotional intelligence. The ability to read people, the ability to connect with people, the ability to get people to do what you want, when you want them to do it. That's the attitude you have, the connection you make, and unfortunately that's in a place called reality. See, this is a place I like to call fantasy land. This isn't real. Reality. So, often people think training knowledge, sport knowledge, nutrition knowledge, rehab knowledge. If you guys know that, that's great. But there's more to coaching than that. What's more to the coaching is self-awareness. Have you guys ever met anyone that always does things crazy and stupid, but he can't realize it? So everybody knows he's crazy and stupid, but only him, he's the only one that doesn't know. You guys know somebody like that? Yeah. He has no self-awareness. How about this? You ever know a coach or heard of a coach that really yells at his kids and none of the kids like him, but he doesn't realize it? How about that? No self-awareness. How about anybody ever know a coach that doesn't eat right, doesn't take care of themselves, doesn't train, and then asks their kid to do it? Well, if they can't manage themselves, how are they going to manage the kids? Would you go to a doctor that's extremely overweight, stinks of cigarettes, and tells you to cut back on your cholesterol? What I would say is, go get a new doctor, right? But here's the thing, guys. If you're a coach and you can't take care of yourself, we need to get a new coach. Because how are you teaching that to kids then? Because here's what I'm here to tell you. Coaching's a whole lot more than floorball. See, I'm pretty sure none of these kids are going to make their livelihoods playing floorball someday. But if you can teach them discipline and attitude and commitment and responsibility through floorball, now maybe they'll be the next foreign prime minister. Maybe they'll be the next something in this country. Or the Olympic medalist somewhere else. So do you see our responsibility and how strong that is? It's huge. So, amplitude. Do you know Coca-Cola has the most amplitude of any food? It means it's got 26 different flavors. Can you pick them out? I bet you can. But because it hits so much of our tongue, we love it. Now see, with coaching, this is what I mean by amplitude. Look, now it's the self-awareness, the knowledge, the management, the sport. It's all the things. You can't even tell. So that after a session you say, man, I don't know what that coach is good at, but that session was great. But yet, what do I always hear with coaching? Oh, he's a very technical coach. Oh, this guy, he really knows the sport inside and out. Like just one piece. So there's no art there. We need to have more. So, to become an effective coach, we need to use training and feedback and connection, which is important. We need to maintain high personal standards and commit ourselves to learn. We need to be an advocate of our kids. How about this? With a show of hands, how many people have at least a couple kids on their teams that they really don't like working with? Being honest. Should be everybody, right? And here's the thing. I bet that kid knows that too. Now see, whether you like that kid or not, that's fine. But they shouldn't know it. Because you got to be more than that. And I'll tell you this, you ready for this one? The kid that you like the least on the team is your biggest opportunity to be the best coach. Because if you can win that kid over and get that kid to change, now you're a superstar. So it's important. And how about this one? I know this one's probably really up on your list. Ready? I know this is probably how every session ends. Hey kids, this is the end of the session today, and I'd really love to get some of your feedback. Please, tell me, how could I be a better coach, and how could I have made that session better? What else could we be doing? How could we really take this team to the next level? And then, later that day, you sit amongst yourselves, and I might say, Mika, just tell me all the things I could be better at. Rip me apart, man. Just tell me, because I know if you tell me it'll be hard, but I'll get so much better. Is that a common conversation we're having in here? Probably not, because that's not a common conversation anywhere. Criticism is the hardest thing to seek, but the piece that will give you the most opportunity to get great. But unfortunately, that's the piece, again, it's hard. Like, I'm not going to say being a good coach is easy. I'm not going to stand up here and say it's easy. It's hard. But if you're going to pay the time and the attention to this, to do this, you got a big responsibility out there with all these kids. Huge. Now, because I know I only have a couple minutes, I'm going to tell one final story that I really like. It's a good one. There are these penguins in the South Pole, right? You guys have seen penguins before? And these penguins are doing what every penguin always does. They were on the internet watching. And the penguins are looking at the internet, and one of the penguins comes up to the other penguins and he goes, guys, I just saw on the internet that there's a man that's teaching pigs how to fly. Pigs! He goes, guys, we can't fly, and we're at least from the bird family. We got wings. If he can teach pigs to fly, I know he can teach us to fly. Pigs! So now they get very excited. They do what any smart penguin would do. They contact this man, and they find out what he can do, and he sets up a seminar. And he says, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come down there. I'm going to do a little lecture. I'm going to do a little hands-on. And then you guys will all be able to fly. And they're like, great. And he goes, and you'll need a little bit of equipment. So got to make sure I have my equipment there too. So they say, awesome. So he comes down, he flies all the way down, he does the opening lecture for the penguins, and he's talking about, he goes, guys, all you got to do, you got to work hard and you got to believe. The biggest thing he taught a lot of science first. He teaches about aerodynamics and why they be able to fly, but then he said, but the secret is you got to believe, and you got to flap your wings as hard as you can, and you got to flap your wings as hard as you can, and if you believe hard enough, you'll fly. And then there was lunch, and then was the hands-on. And all the penguins, they walked into the room, and they look, and there's ladders. A ladder for every penguin. And they go, because they're worried about what the ladder is. And he goes, okay guys, here's what we're going to do. Every penguin up onto the first rung. So they all climb up onto the first rung. And he says, start flapping your wings. And you got to believe. Remember, I told you you got to believe, you got to believe. Everybody jump off. And you know what happened? They all fell right on their face. And all these penguins are like, oh, that was no good. He goes, don't worry about that, guys. Up onto the second rung. And now they're like, oh man, so they climb up. And he goes, start flapping your wings, start flapping your wings. Everybody jump off. And they all jump off. Everybody again, harder. He goes, don't worry. everybody onto the third rung. He goes, third rung, fourth rung, fifth rung. Now, some of the penguins are going over and they're dialing the emergency number. They're like, it's getting bad, right? And then on the seventh rung, when everybody jumped and hit, all of a sudden one looks up and he says, hey guys, look at Temu the penguin. He's flying. And he was tired of falling, so now he's up there and he was flying in the air. And then when they all went up to the eighth rung, you know what happened? They all started flying. Because they saw one guy do it, and now they believed it, and now they really believed it, and everybody was flying. And then by the end, they were flying around in formation. They looked like a jet air show like penguins. And then the saddest part of the whole seminar happened. When the seminar ended, and he thanked everybody and told them, he said, hey, today I'm here to inspire you and fire you up. You got to keep it going. The worst thing happened is that instead of flying home, all the penguins got right like back where they started, and they all walked. See, today, I don't have a lot of time with you, and I'm trying to inspire you guys to fly. But if you go back tonight, and you just walk out of here, and then tomorrow you've kind of forgotten what I've talked about, it was useless. But if tonight, or the next coaching session, you just try something different, just a little bit. Maybe a little inspiration, maybe a story you could tell, maybe just a little more clapping, maybe just telling a kid, hey, good job. You know what? You got a lot of talent, kid, and if you really work at this, and I'll help you do it, you could be something. Or it could be, guys, do you know how important it is to get enough sleep? We need to be working on that. Guys, do you know how important it is to eat right? And here, I made a list for the team of how we're going to start eating right as a team. Me included, because we're going to win. Start one of those things, and something great will start happening. You know why? Because every one of you is going to start seeing it, and then you're all going to do it. Just like that one guy. Coaching is the biggest responsibility in this country. Coaching and teaching. And you know what? Coaching is teaching. My challenge is, what are you teaching them, and how much do you believe? So I hope everybody enjoyed that speech. It is my pleasure to always present for Finnish coaches, and again, hopefully you see I'm passionate about this. The passion, it's something you guys all have to have too, and if you have it, man, you can't imagine what you can do. So, I don't know what's next. I think I'm now going to train the team or something. Is that what we're doing next? But hopefully everybody